If you've laughed at Peter Sellers, danced to Amy Winehouse or enjoyed the films of Mike Leigh, then that's just a tiny measure of the Jewish contribution towards British entertainment. A new exhibition at London's Jewish Museum traces its progress from the Yiddish theatre of the 19th century through the old East End music halls to some of today's best-known showbiz stars. Here's our culture editor, Mathew Cain.
He was famous for being the lead singer of T-Rex and dying in a car crash at the age of just 29. But what many people don't know about Mark Bolan is that he was also Jewish. He features in an exhibition at the Jewish Museum which celebrates the role Jewish people have played in Britain's entertainment industries. It references names as diverse as Sid James, Simon Cowell and Amy Winehouse, and goes back 125 years to the roots of Jewish entertainment in Britain.
A lot of people came over in waves of immigration at the end of the 19th century and before the First World War into the East End, and it was a way out of poverty.
As with many immigrant populations, there was a strong desire to keep alive their own traditions, like Yiddish theatre. But there was also a need to react against existing portrayals of Jews, like Shylock and Fagin.
What happened in the mid-20th century is you have Jewish writers and also performers. You have Wolf Mankiewicz, Bernard Kopps, Arnold Wesker, writing about a more authentic Jewish experience, drawing on their own experiences of growing up, as it were, in the Jewish East End in immigrant families.
As you might expect, Jewish comedy has a strong presence in the exhibition, and we're all familiar with the self-deprecating anecdotal humour which has been so influential, from American imports like Curb Your Enthusiasm to recent British TV shows like Friday Night Dinner.
Dad. Martin, Tanya really doesn't want to hear about Isaac Newton's kidney stones when she's eating.
No, it's okay, but they were delicious.
I think one of the reasons that Jews are quite good at comedy is because they seem to be quite good at being kind of half in and half out of the mainstream culture. And that's a good place to find comedy in. You know, you can be funny about stuff that people know about, but you've got a slightly different take on. So I think that might be it. And also, people talk a lot about this, but Jews have had quite a lot of suffering in their life. I don't want to go on about it, but we have. And the only way to deal with that is laugh at it.
And there are some surprises in the exhibition. There's work by Michael Balkan, who produced the archetypally English Ealing comedies, and Gerald and Ralph Thomas, who gave us the Carry On films, in the process becoming more British than the British.
Do you mind? This is private.
And this is the ladies' cloakroom.
Oh, good.
Perhaps the motivation behind this was a strong pressure to assimilate.
My father was a Russian Jew who came over to Britain in the 1920s as a teenager, and he became a perfect English gentleman. His formative years were the 20s, and like Balkan probably, there was a very strong pressure to be the English gentleman.
It's clear from the exhibition that the work of all Jewish entertainers doesn't explore a specifically Jewish subject matter. So in this famously multicultural society, just how relevant or appropriate is it to continue segregating entertainment according to culture or ethnicity?
I regard myself as an English woman. If others tend to regard me as a Jewish comic, that's their problem. We live here, my parents were born here, you know, we are now as integrated as some of the Picts and the Normans and the Huguenots are.
Oh, girl, I'm just a jeepster for your love.
By celebrating the contribution of Jewish entertainers, perhaps the overriding message of the exhibition is to remind us just how much of British culture in general has been shaped by all immigrants, and not just Jews.
Matt Cain reporting tonight's main news. President Obama has declared the world is at a